Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GameKheyl. My name is Naveed, also known as Barely Average Gaming, and today we have ourselves a treat. You guys have waited for a while. You guys have been asking me, what's the GameKheyl curse? I think pretty much everyone who's been in the community knows what GameKheyl curse is, but we have a man who is going to stand in the face of that curse and do what he does best. And also, more about this man before I reveal who he is. This man is a streamer. He is one of the more renowned names in the UFC community. We have Mr. RuthlessOmni with us here today. Omni, how are we doing today?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, and tell you what, my day has gotten much brighter seeing your pretty face here today. Anyways, welcome to the channel. Oh, that's perfect. By the way, for everyone watching, I believe congratulations are due for our man who is now married. How about that?
Yes.
Congratulations again, my friend.
Appreciate it. I got married about 2 months ago on June 12th. And then a week later, I got a puppy, which at one point I'll call him over and you guys can see him. But absolutely, man, it's been fantastic. I've been with my wife now for come December 9 years. She supported everything I've done from when I was in college, getting my associates in cybersecurity, to turning around and saying I'm going to be doing streaming as a part-time kind of thing, you know, just to have fun since I was playing so much with UFC. It's great to have a partner, I would say. You know, Joe Rogan said it best. You're not really getting married to somebody for looks. You're going to get married to somebody who you can have a companion with and can tolerate for the rest of your life. I mean, and that's why a lot of marriages nowadays, you see that, you know, there was something that brought you in. It may not be there no more, but you got to push through that. And congratulations to you too, right? 8 months ago, you said? You got,
yes, sir.
You got cuffed. So you understand. I'm assuming you were with her for a while. You know,
Absolutely.
When you decide to do that, it's a big deal. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So let's lower the number of divorces, right? Let's lock good ones.
Yeah, I think that does the trick, because especially when you're living in a country like mine in Pakistan, things work a little differently. But if you know the person you're getting married to, rather than the concept of arranged marriage as well, in my personal experiences, things work much better. And also to the point of early parenthood with the dog. How's that like?
Wow, yeah. A week later, we have a little baby. He was only he was 10 weeks when we got him on the Monday after, so he's like 9 and some odd. He's awesome. He's a little mini schnauzer, and right toward the end, I'll call him over. He's really good now. He's 16 weeks old, and he's very well behaved. He's very well behaved, and he can be annoying because he's very loud, but I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch him grow up.
Well, I'm actually a father to a cat, so I've had him since he was 8 weeks old. Now he's 2 years old. He's not well behaved at all. Makes my life miserable, but it is what it is. Anyways, sir, so sorry.
I say gotta love him.
Oh, well, yeah, you have to. Yeah. Anyways, so again, to our bread and butter, that is streaming. Sir, you've been at it for a while. You are someone who commands respect from a lot of streamers that I've spoken to. You are your favorite of a lot of people that I've spoken to as well. So we have to kind of discuss the origins. Where did this all come from? How long have you been at it? And what actually brought you to it? It's a loaded question, but bear with me.
That is a loaded question. That's a lot. So I started streaming back in 2018, maybe the end of 2017. A little bit of a little personal background story. I'd at the time, did I just unplug myself? Can you hear me?
Oh, I was hearing you perfectly.
Yeah, everything. I just unplugged myself. That sucks. Hold on. Wait a minute. Speaker, boom. Speak.
Hello.
Wow, I just messed up the entire thing. We'll have to.
Oh,
start.
Your mic.
Oh, there we go. We're good
right now. Oh,
okay, great.
So
we're good to go.
The first half of the interview, you sounded good. Right now, you sound godly. Like your mic is on point.
I unplugged my Yeti. I have a Yeti right here, and I unplugged it like an. So of course now Now I should sound better. So I started back in like 2017, 2018, and then a little side story with that. At the end of 2017, I just turned 21, and right next to where I was working was a casino, and I was like, well, if I make a lot of money, I can go and I can stop and I can I can game full time because I have enough money. Needless to say, that didn't end well. That was about a month of my life that kind of I ended up putting myself on what's known as a self-exclusion list in Pennsylvania. So I don't go to casinos in Pennsylvania. I have gone since I can get myself off. I just choose not to because it was a real rough patch in my life. But at the end of that all, I was like, you know what? I don't see why I couldn't just start. So I decided to start. And at first, man, it was real slow. Like I only had about 400 followers by the time it was 2020, like 2019 ish. And it was really slow grind, but I was every day really planning it. I bought a follower. I bought a follower once by buying her candles in exchange for her follow to get my affiliate. That was a fun struggle. But I had been playing since UFC 2, and I mean, I played UFC 1 and I got pretty decent at it, but UFC 2 that's where it's at, man. Like, I mean, I'm talking the double high kicks and all that extra cheese and stuff. It was fun. UFC 3 was where I blew up as the Ruthless one, and then I decided to change my name because I would take breaks, and I usually do that for my mental health. I'll take a break for a few months and then I'll come back to it. And when I came back, I was on Xbox when I started. When I came back, I then switched over to Ruthless Dawn. And then finally, I went to PlayStation, and that's when the demo for UFC 4 came out. And when that came out, and when the game came out, I'd gotten blessed a bunch of times and with raids, and that's what kind of got me up past 2,000 followers. I need 5 more now, and I'm at 2,300. And you know what? It's small gains, right? You constantly look at it as, even if you lose somebody, right? Maybe that person just wasn't right for your community. You can look at it that way. Just always looking positively at it. I hate this game from time to time. In fact, there's a lot of times I criticize the hell out of the game, but I do come back to it, and that's the game I decide to stream. And that's where it kind of started, man. It started from a poor habit that I decided to turn into something that I could actually do. That kind of energy of wanting money and wanting to do something while earning money was cool for me. But then it kind of realized that, like, this kind of thing is, you have to do it for the love of it. And then it just transformed to, I like talking to people and I like having community. Funny enough, though, my community is rather silent. they like watching, and they're like, oh, how is he doing that? And I'm like, just ask me and I'll tell you. But then I get in the zone too. So it's cool, man. It's a cool experience.
Well, being fortunate enough to be a part of your community, one thing that I really want to appreciate on the record is the fact that you have this innate ability of connecting with the people that you have on stream. I think it kind of comes from a perspective or from a place when you're trying to engage with people and they're not necessarily reciprocating. So you have to keep the conversation moving. You have to make sure that they're engaging, they're having some sort of value that they're driving out of that conversation. So I believe for a lot of people, including myself at one point when I was streaming, this could be a little demotivating because you want people to notice you. You want people to be able to gravitate towards you, and they're doing the exact opposite. But at the same time, what you've been able to accomplish in your tenure within the last 3 years is understanding and having that understanding. So what I would like for you to expand upon a little bit is the grind itself, because people like the glitz and glamour of streaming and, you know, all the attention that comes with, but the grind is essentially where it all, what it all boils down to.
Yeah, man. It's not just that too, right? Like, outside of this, right, I had to be able to afford all the things that I have, like, and I won't go into like too pricey wise, but I definitely think just me sitting here right now, there's over about $3,000 that are just around me. And that's because I put in a lot of time and effort at my current role. So you have to be successful in other aspects of your life before this is going to be able to take off. It's called self-development and personal growth. One of the biggest things that comes with being a streamer as well is scrutiny and criticism, and a lot of opposition. People just want to troll, and you have to have a thick skin and be able to be like, well, you, and literally just ban people. It took me a while to realize that that people in this community like to get reactions. People like to see how you are going to react if they say something foolish, racist, or they'll go after your integrity, and maybe they'll find out and dig up information about you, like your name and whatever, and use your name in the stream. Maybe they just saw it because you just so happen to have it on your computer screen. This is the kind of thing that makes it difficult to push through those tough moments. It's the little moments and the environment that causes you to give up on dreams like that. So if you really are interested in streaming, the best advice I can give you, which was given to me by the former owner of Noble GG Gaming, his name is Recon. He's probably on my stream a few times if you guys ever been around when he's there, is simple. It's, you got to do something, get good at it, and keep doing it. So if you are somebody that likes to play a bunch of different games and stuff, that's awesome. Get good at communication so that you can say, hey, I don't only play this game. You want to just be in here for my conversations. I can go out and I can play any game right now other than UFC 4. But I promise you, my viewership is going to be very low. And if I'm willing to take the hit, sure, that's fine. And after a while, you know, you might be able to build up something there. But if you start a brand and a certain game, you stick with that game if you want to grow in that way. There are plenty of streamers right now, PewDiePie, as the top. Ninja can go on and play whatever he wants. I know Balian plays whatever he wants. There's a ton of other people that have gone through and just played whatever they want. So I just looked over people I follow as well. And you'll notice that they have one particular game that people love to watch them play. And for the UFC 4 community, it's a bunch of people that want to get better, likely. So releasing content about how to get better is something that I've been actually in the works of within my YouTube channel. I've been that's where I put out the games I'm playing other than UFC 4 as well. That's where I experiment. That's where I see what clicks. But the glitz and glam comes after the hard work, man, the labor. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, but ain't nobody want to put the work in. You gotta, that's a Kevin Hart quote. If you put the work in, then you see the rewards.
Agreed. And much to what you've said, that one thing that you said specifically, if you want to do something, like if you want to be successful at something, get good at it and then keep on doing it. And being someone who is in learning and development as a full-time professional, this is something that we try to instill in the individuals that we're training, that the fact is a lot of times you just have to enjoy the journey itself, because once you reach the destination, that's it. You can just look around you, but when you get to that moment, in fact, from that movie, Pursuit of Happiness, that one single moment where you can take a pause and just look around, that is happiness. But at the same time, to get to that point, it's going to, and you being like the epitome of what we're discussing here, I think it's very refreshing to hear that perspective from someone like yourself, and I'm really grateful to have you speaking on these subjects. Moving on from this, there's one aspect that we've discussed, and we've actually had another streamer, Miss Ayala, who's also a very avid streamer on Twitch. Shout out to her. She spoke in detail about mental health and the challenges that she's faced. If possible, if you could share some instances where you may have to struggle, and what has been your solution, for the lack of a better term, or what's the route you have taken in order to ensure your mental stability. And like you've mentioned, you've been able to take breaks, you've been able to manage it accordingly after some trial and error. But I would like to hear from the horses now. What's your perspective on it?
So for one, it's amazing that, you know, we get to talk about stuff like this. Mental health is extremely important. And that comes down to nutrition, man. A lot of the times I'll come to find that my mental health gets way out of whack when I decide that I'm going to do things to my body that it doesn't deserve. And things around those lines are like, I'm not getting electrolytes in, right? Like right here while we're drinking, I have electrolytes. And electrolytes, literally, if you guys don't know the actual science behind it, it's simply just sodium, and sodium in your body in general, which so many people hate on sodium. Too much sodium is bad for you, just like anything else. Sodium in and of itself, with like just a cup of water, lemon, and sodium in the morning, it allows the wires and the electric neurons in your brains to fire like this. You need electrolytes. If you're just drinking much water, then you can literally look at your veins on your wrist, and it will tell you if you see it protruding that you need electrolytes. That's how our bodies work. Listen to your body, read it. If you feel achy and stuff, drink more water, find out more about why you feel achy. And lastly, like I always say, when it comes to mental health, I'm a big component of meditation and really figuring things out yourself. Like I can ponder the meaning of life for hours. Like I can sit there and ponder it for hours, but at the end of the day, I'm living life, and you can be depressed about the fact that it exists, or you can be positive about the fact that it exists. You can think backward, or you can think forward, or you can be in the present. And sometimes it's really hard to get out of thinking about the past and all the things that have happened. You don't want to be embarrassed, like when you're streaming. You don't want to be made fun of or whatever. I've been there, and sometimes I get there too, man. Even nowadays, even with having people that I know support me, and if other people came in who wanted to be harassing me, would just tell them off for me. I don't even got to do it. Sometimes I get there, but really taking yourself into the concept of that has happened does not mean it's going to happen again. And moving forward in thought and bringing yourself aligned to the present as much as possible. As you were saying, enjoying the surroundings. Just take a moment to take a deep breath through your nose, man, and look around, look what's around you, and just be aware. Once you become aware of where you are and what you're doing, you realize you're not in the past. The things aren't happening to you that cause you to be depressed. And the things that may happen in the future, why worry about it? Because if you can stop it, great. If you can't, great. Because either way, why worry, man? Like, I do my best to get myself back into that mindset. I do have reoccurring issues, though, where it does come back. But I do everything in my power to get back realigned and stop drifting back into negative thought, into positive thoughts. It all allows me to excel at life, right? Because that's the goal. And yes, I'd say excel, because if you're not excelling, what are you doing? So even if I'm not excelling, I'll say I am, because I'm going to be. So boom.
Sir, you have a really refreshing perspective on how things ought to be perceived, or how you can reframe your brain into perceiving experiences. There's a concept called neuro-linguistic programming. If you're familiar with that,
Maybe.
Well, it's short. If the acronym is NLP, it's basically how you can take a certain experience in your life and reframe it in your mind in order to have a positive outcome that can come out of it. So it's just essentially reframing what you've experienced previously, and you can take that experience, turn it or spin it around into something positive, and then see what are the potential positive outcomes that can come from a dangerous experience or an experience which may have caused you some sort of trauma. So I believe that is another route that a lot of people can take. What you've mentioned about mindfulness, that is something that has done wonders for a lot of people. And having that presence, being in the moment. I think there's a book that I've recently read called The Power of Now that can be very empowering to a few individuals who are seeking help. And other than that, I think there is no shame in seeking professional help, because there are taboos, especially in the country where I'm at. People do not perceive mental health as something that is very serious. So for everyone watching, anyone who needs help, do seek it. At the end of the day, your mental health is as important as your physical well-being. And like you mentioned, sometimes what you do to yourself physically has impact on you mentally as well. So try to put yourself in the best shape possible, and your body is going to treat your mind well as well. Yes, sir.
I said exactly. A big, just to lead on to that. There's no shame in saying I need help. Not at all.
Amen to that. All right. So back to the fun business. Well,
yes,
we have seen yourself and a lot of other streamers giving grief to EA on the monstrosity that is UFC 4. We love it, but we hate it as well. There are certain things we don't like, and I want you to go all in on what needs to be fixed, so to say.
Wow, that's interesting. Where do I begin? So, perspective-wise, I do understand why there are certain things that are in play, right? Like a lot of people are not a fan of the rear naked choke in the back sitting position. That right there, I am a fan of. And the reason why is because if you take a look at the statistics inside of UFC, the most successful choke and the one that has gotten the most finishes and the one that's most attempted is a rear naked choke. And if that is the case, that means that choke should be the strongest, which makes a lot of sense to me. There are definitely other opportunities, such as I remember looking in UFC 3 and seeing a posture up position lasting more than about 5 to 6 seconds. And it had more options for the person, not a quick scramble, like I'm just punching you in the face, but I'm standing right here. I'm postured up. Like you let go of my head, I'm up now. And it's not going to be easy for you to get me down. And in UFC 3, they also had a clinch system. And the clinch system was much more sophisticated than what it is now. And granted, there are great things about why that system needed to go away and reasons why it could have went away. But I think that they could have incorporated elements of that system into this, make it more free flowing when I grab you initially in the clinch, but allow a quick time event or some kind of action that gets me into a stagnant situation. Maybe I hold you for a certain amount of time. Now we're inside of a clinching situation where I can use the right analog stick to get in and out. That doesn't exist. And as a result, it allows for individuals to manipulate the clinch, especially upon the cage, to immediately go and grab somebody's back within seconds and to drag them to the ground. I'm not disagreeing with that, because in UFC 3, it was impossible for me to get anyone to the ground that understood the grapple counters. And then I had to just get my ass kicked for a good, most likely 5 rounds, because I'm blocking and stuff. I appreciate that element, but I also understand that there are plenty of ways and other ways that we could have gone about getting to the back clinch. Simple. It's plain and simple, but I think that the gaming community and EA has done a decent job to get rid of common exploits such as the single bail to the back and the double leg bail to the back that was constantly going on. In the clinch, getting a little bit of a boost didn't necessarily help nor hurt the community, but it's there's a lot of things, man, like that still need worked on. The striking still has a tracking system that doesn't make a lot of sense. I can hit somebody because I'm supposed to be in their range by throwing a jab and a hook, but they stepped out of range and it still registers that I hit them on their block. That doesn't make sense. Obviously, I am not a magician. I cannot hit you through air unless I am really strong and really fast and I can punch wind power at you. That shit don't make sense. Standing still, blocking my head, especially on Xbox. This on Xbox is driving me nuts, which I'll be going back to PlayStation 2 soon. But on Xbox, people will just stand against the wall, block, and go like this. And when I go to their body, it doesn't register that I'm hitting them in the body as hard. They are literally blocking their head. I should be like liver shotting them right now. Like, you are weak. You look weak to me. Like, I'm going to beat you up. Finally, I also think that the community in and of itself just needs to stop being a bunch of because at the end of the day, every single thing that has happened within the game, you can block, deny in some kind of way. For example, I'll give everybody a little MO that I keep getting. For knee spammers, you want to beat a knee spammer? Throw a lead uppercut. and you throw straight. And even if they throw a flying knee mid combination, you will beat them out. That's how this game works. And this is like, everyone's freaking out about knee spammers and clinch spamming, and in clinch, even in clinch spamming, if someone does it to me, I find a reason. And I took this from my from a guy named Cheeky Patcher as well. He's an infamous within the European community, and as well as just in this game in general. He spars with the best. If you start cheesing me, I'm just gonna do it back to you, man. Like, why are we blaming them? Oh, you don't want to fight like a man, or you don't want to fight. You don't want to fight. Screw you, dude. I am fighting you. I decided I'm gonna put you against the cage and literally manipulating you with my will. Get on the cage and eat my knees, you. And then that's that. Like, I mean, it's that kind of perspective that people don't understand about. Just if you can take accountability for the fact that you got up to go and get yourself a glass of water, anything that happens in this game, you need to take accountability for. It's the same principle. You decided to pick up the controller, so you decided to have a bad time today if you didn't want to block any of the things that they're doing. So, I mean, they definitely need to work. We need more. We need more content. We need more combos. We need more grappling. It needs more, and we need to stop reducing the playing ground, like taking away Ultimate Team, so that this game becomes more of a consumer friendly content. This is high elite players like playing this game, you know what I mean? And we can get rid of consumer friendly people, and those people will remain as well if they get taught well with tutorials, actual tutorials on how to do it. I mean, and it just doesn't exist. It doesn't explain itself well.
Well, speaking on the fact that this game needs to be more marketable, I think EA did try something more on the audacious side with Action Bronson. What's your perspective on having celebrities as playable characters?
I mean, cool, I guess. But if you're gonna put like playable characters like that, give me John Cena. Give me like wrestlers. Like, put in cool people. I don't know. I don't give a shit about Action Bronson. I want to see, like, give me like that person that's number 15 right now within the lightweight division. And like, who is that even? I don't even know. But like, he clearly made it there. If you make it to the top 15 even once, I want to see you. Like, if you make it there once, I want to see. If you make it any kind of ranking and you do something, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see who you are. Like Armand, I can't even say that name, but he's 16-2, and he's on a 3-fight win streak right now. And the last win that he had, including one over Olivier Aubin Mercier. Like, this is Armin Sairuk Yan. I think that's his name. I don't know, but like, these are the kind of people I would love to see.
Which weight is it?
I want to see that. That's a lightweight division, number 15. If you can pronounce it, that'd be great. I want to see actual fighters.
I agree. And like, for instance, someone like Islam Makhachev, it took a while for EA to get these fighters in game. So get your act together, I guess.
Yes. And why are we not seeing the dashing, the suave man of Charles Oliveira? The man's still got a mullet. He don't got a mullet no more. Does he still have a mullet? But if it does, then he's got a freaking bleach white mullet, and he looking suave as hell, man. Where the hell is his glasses? Like, what's going on? Why do we not care about this man?
Well, all we can do is hope for the best. And for some of the people in the community, that might just be ESBC. Do you agree? Yes,
I do. I'm going to be going. I think it's going to boost the competition within the fighting realm. It's simple. It's effective boxing. People who don't even really watch boxing are going to revert to this game and at least give it a shot, because it's a fighting game, a professional sport game. And because it's a professional sport fighting game, we are seeing people that just want action go to it. So we're going to see the entire Fight Night community head over there that still play Fight Night Champion. The game that was released, I think, in 2011, 2013, something around those lines, still being played to this day because people really enjoy the boxing and enjoy that kind of corner man system. And because of that, I believe it's going to ups the challenges, right? Like, if there's no competition, then what you're doing right now wins. always. So there's no reason for you to up the ante. So competition's good. I will personally be on that as well, but I ain't doing this on console. I'm doing this PC. So and it's cross platform. So I mean, I have an advantage just simply by I have a gaming PC. I can overclock it. I can do whatever I want. So there's also going to be those kind of elements too, where people are like, "Oh, that's BS" or whatever, because you have you have something. Well, I mean, you can do the same. You just look it up, man.
Well, even in real life athletics, small margins are the ones that make the biggest difference. So you can't really complain about the fact that your opponent has better training camp than you or had access to more resources. What you have to do is manage your own resources and do the best you can within those limited resources. And you kind of build from that. And that's essentially what we've been able to do with GameKheyl. We are trying to make incremental changes with this, and with guests like yourself, I think we're off to bigger and better things. So again, appreciate having you here today. Again, so expanding on a lot of things that we've discussed, your journey as a streamer, there's one thing that I would want to talk to you about, and that is the heroes that you've had, the people that you've looked up to on your own journey as a streamer, people that have inspired you to become a content creator, and people that you still look up to, so to say. Anyone that inspires you in this day and age, and also who you would want to emulate moving forward. So just a few shout outs from your end, if anyone that you would like to name.
Well, Proxys for one, we were both on Xbox together, and he went from Twitch to YouTube, and it blew up. I still talk to him to this day from time to time. He comes to my stream. He still supports my stream and gives me subs. I haven't been able to go over to him and do the same, but genuinely, that's a good guy right there. He really does look out for everybody, and in the community that is very small, he's got a big voice. And was somebody that was very instrumental and very cool to fight against when I was playing in UFC 3. I only fought him a few times in 4, and I have a video with him on YouTube about that, and that was cool, but that was earlier patches. I would say Cody Dink as well. He's another Xbox streamer. We actually, funny enough, we had bad blood originally because I talked shit and I thought that was a way of getting better, and it didn't turn out well, man. And I got embarrassed on his stream, and then afterwards we were just cool. It just is what it is. So, you know, I always recommend this. You want camaraderie, you want community, right? You don't have to be the guy that goes and talks shit. If you want to be that guy, you can play a heel. I did it for a little bit. I joined T4H, and that was amazing. That lasted for a week. I still love those guys, regardless. I know people hate on them, but I'm a guy that says do what you want. Like, play the game the way you want. You spent your money. I don't give a f how you play. Don't cheat, but play how you want. And last but certainly not least, I do appreciate Romero. I've actually reached out to him and asked him questions and used his advice from time to time, especially in the smaller aspect of content creation. And it's simply put, he's very articulate, nice person, and is willing to give you help as well. And all these people are available to be checked out on YouTube. Cody Dink, as well, as he puts out his betting predictions on there. He's also on Twitch still, over 30,000 followers. And so it's that kind of thing that keeps me motivated and keeps me going. I always recommend finding yourself a good mentor, somebody that you can look up to, even if it's directly or indirectly, that has done it first. And then they can give you examples. Like, this is my pathway I took to it. And most of the time, like I said in the beginning, man, just to tie it all together, they did one thing, they got great at it, and they kept doing it. They didn't get bored, and they didn't get discouraged. And even if they did, they still did it anyway. Do you want a six-pack? Do sit-ups until you can't move.
You know, I think talking to you is really make me go back to my day job, that is trading and development. And there's this one thing that we constantly reinforce for people who constantly question their motivation in life. And the simple answer to that is, if you do what you enjoy doing, you never have to go another day to work in your life, because at the end of the day, you're doing something that fulfills you. At the same time, what you have to question is the integrity of your interest, because more often than not, people would take something, see if it fits or not, and then move on with something.
Yeah.
And what really strikes me and kind of baffles me is the fact that people do not really invest time into thinking whether that motivation towards doing something, is it tangible? Is it going to fade away after a while? So I think what humans in general, or maybe more aptly for the streamers, grit and tenacity is something that really matters at the end of the day. And for you, with your own experiences, like you mentioned, coming in 21 years old, having certain experiences in life, getting into trouble, getting out of it, handling mental challenges, I believe a lot of things are resonating with the entire theory of training and development that I essentially go on preach to certain individuals. And I am really, for the lack of a better term, inspired by what you've said recently in this interview. So again, I really appreciate having you for this conversation. Coming towards the business end of this interview again, Omni. So we've had this community. We've had a lot of people, a lot of different leagues happening. This community itself has kind of become a niche, which has the potential of becoming like something like UFC, because it's a billion-dollar industry. Yet we have a very small scale attention towards it. The streamers are not getting the numbers that games like FIFA, games like Tekken are getting, which I believe a fighting simulator, which is essentially replicating what's happening in real life. A person has control over it. And you see games like Tekken, you see games like Street Fighter, which have absolutely nothing to do with that, getting more views, getting more streams, getting more attention. What is it that UFC community has to do, or the game has to do, in order to get that kind of attention? Is it marketing? Is it personalities? What is it?
Well, marketing is 100% the most important thing. Is people need to be aware that the game exists and that you have an open market for it. I think that the lack of attention, like Mortal Kombat gets, the fact that the developers listen to the community within these other games is very important. Whereas the developers started to listen to us within these games, however, they didn't really continue. There's actual evidence of that within other chats and stuff, and I understand the frustration, right? I get it. There's a certain budget that you get and you have to roll with it, and if EA is not willing to be the company that's going to be the flagship for the UFC gaming community, then that's that. I mean, people knew more about UFC 2 than they did about 3 or 4. And why was that? Well, look who was the cover star and who brought so much attention down to UFC. The marketing did itself. Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey were the biggest draws back in 2015, 2017 and up. And these people were marketed and they helped market this game. Mike Tyson was also included in UFC 2. Where is he? Where is he not back into our games, man? I took the model right from the Fight Night champion. These are characters and real people that made the game possible. And that's why UFC 2 numbers have blown out what UFC 4 and UFC 3 numbers have. It's not going to change without having people that are going to help it change. People are also searching for content for this. This is why people like Parallaxis can get over about 200 people watching him a night. That's the numbers that we could expect. However, like you're saying, this is not FIFA. This is not Tekken. These kind of numbers are small streamer success numbers. These are, like, I, on average, have been getting barely up to 20 recently. I haven't been able to get back up to that marketing. And that's also because I'm not marketing myself. I'm not doing what I used to do. I'm just taking it easy because I have other things in my life. I have a wife, I have a dog, and I care more about those kind of elements than I do this right now. But if you really want something to grow, if you want a flower to grow, you give it water, you sometimes give it a good soil, so good foundation, and then you give it love, right? And you just keep on building and building upon it, and eventually the flower's going to grow, man. Like, and that's what is missing from this community. In particular, there's also a big divide between people that are saying, like, play and let play, and then other people that are like, you're cheesing, you're playing the game wrong. and I'm on the side of play and let play, man. Like, and because there's that big divide, I don't see that kind of issue when we're looking at Mortal Kombat tournaments. People can say what they want, like, oh, you're using a very overpowered character. So they're in the game, man. Like, what do you want from me? No one says like anything like the things that they say here. Like, I don't see that kind of thing. You know what I mean? And even in Dead by Daylight community, which is a very toxic community from time to time, just with and all that stuff alone, and that just infuriates out of somebody that you crouched a bunch of times, you pressed one key on the keyboard, and now you're going up and down, and that means you're trying to put your back on someone's head. Like, even with that community, nobody says the things that they say. We criticize our own game so hard and believe people should be playing a different way than they are. I mean, it will never win. It's not going to win in this way. There needs to be a universal understanding of how to do everything that doesn't exist, and there needs to be more brought into the game. I just went on for about a good 3 minutes, but you know what? There you are.
No, I believe it goes to show your interest in and in fact passion towards what this game essentially have the potential to become. And again, there are really bright spots in the community as well. Like we saw after the death of Scott Hector, the whole community came together. So there are some bright moments, like you mentioned, the analogy of the flower being nurtured. I believe a bit of sunshine can help, a bit of spotlight, a bit of having those personalities in game, having those personalities in the community. I believe we have them. It's just about getting behind them and elevating them. So for everyone who's watching, and especially those in the part of the UFC for community, I think we've done well for a small game. But again, we are representatives of something bigger. We are not just representatives of a single game. In fact, like we mentioned, we are excited for ESBC. ONE FC is coming up with their own game soon. So very excited for that as well. So there's a lot of things that are happening. But at the same time, I believe, and I'm actually a strong proponent of that, if something works out in the long run, if there is a strategy, if there is mindfulness, like you mentioned, the UFC 2 numbers, I believe it had an excellent marketing strategy. We saw that, in fact, initially I actually started playing the mobile app of UFC, in which we had the game. I think I had Donald Cerrone and Tim Means in that. But kind of, in fact, what's the word? In fact, I actually forgot the word as well. Digressing. Yeah, that's it. That's it. So I'm a little digressing here, but at the same time, everyone who's been with this community, for instance, I've been around this community for about 2 to 3 years. We all feel very strongly towards the growth of it. We've all been part of different leagues. You and I have shared commentary with a few times as well. We do our best in order to get the right spotlight, but at the same time, I think the developers need to do their job as well. It's going to be a collective effort in order to get this game the recognition that it deserves. And also, as fight fans, by the way, I love your t-shirt here. We all in this community are doing our best in order to get the job done, so to say. Again, my rant is over. Again, Omni, it was a pleasure having you here. We've been trying to get the schedule. It's great to see you in person as well. So before we part, any final words?
Not really, man. I'm excited. You know what? I actually do have final words. Go check me out on YouTube. Go check out my YouTube channel. I'm going to be making a bunch more content. Last thing is I'm also on Twitch. You can find me at RuthlessOmni. That's, Ruthless plus Omni, which Omni stands for all, of all things. That's why omniscient, all that kind of stuff, just in case everybody didn't get it. Anyway, but yeah, no, man. I'll be chilling. I'm sure you guys will hear me as one of the voices on Cage Rage soon. I've just been really busy. It's been very difficult for me to kind of get a decent schedule going on, but now that my job is more standardized and beginning tomorrow, highest ever been paid. Whoop.
Congratulations.
And thank you very much. Make sure you guys go check out our other content as well from the other communities, right? ESFL. I was a part of there for a while, but I ended up leaving that. I left everything just because I needed a mental break, a real mental break from everything. Make sure you check the ESFL out. They have the Pro League that's out right now. Check out some of these other great content creators. Make sure you guys subscribe and follow this page as well on YouTube, and see more interviews. And you better have me back on here, buddy. I want to do another interview
sir.
at some point.
No, definitely. We at GameKheyl are doing our best to. We actually have a lot of moving parts right now. So at this point in time, we are very excited. A few names that you've mentioned may or may not have committed to us for an interview. So that is going to be very exciting. At the same time, we are also planning to move into live competitions. We are setting up a website right now. We will be doing merchandise as well. And for everyone watching, everything that Omni has mentioned will be shared in the description here, all the links. Make sure to give him some love on his stream, on the channels. We also have our Twitch setup, our Twitter setup. We will be moving on to Twitch. Our Facebook is set. There's a lot of things happening. And again, it's all been possible because of the support of everyone who has been keeping things afloat. Again, Omni, it was a pleasure having you. For everyone watching, thank you all for your time. And we will see you guys again with another guest real soon. Peace.
Peace.